Now, Professor Mazwe Majola now joins us via Zoom to weigh in on leadership at state-owned enterprises in South Africa. Very good afternoon to you. Always good to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Peter. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. So all eyes were on Pravin Gordhan yesterday as he announced a new board. I just wonder what needed to go through his mind and government in terms of thinking about the leadership that's required for our state-owned enterprises like Eskom.
So, yeah, when we must commend the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan. We must commend him for the new board of Eskom. But I think while we are commending him, we must also condemn him. So it's a combination of commendation and condemnation. It's a combination of praising him or praises and vituperations, because he has taken so long to restructure or reconfigure the board of Eskom. Actually, he must take responsibility and accountability because, I mean, really, he has become so reactive. He waited so long for the last 2 years without a full board there. So, but now he has done it, and great work. I mean, that's very, very good. So what he needed to do, obviously, really wanted to find best men and women in the country. Obviously, there's so many others who are still there. You only, I mean, he only selected 12 people there. There will be people would be speaking, I mean, maybe saying other names, but the names that he managed to put together, very good names. So you'll be going for highly competent leaders, ethical leaders, transformational leaders, courageous leaders, leaders who will be able to be objective and to be bold in taking decisions and also in bringing about change at Eskom. So there was a combination of all those and obvious others as well. So people who will understand or rather, yes, comprehend, interpret and manage times where we are in situations, especially at Eskom. He wanted people who will not take long in understanding and appreciating and making changes at this. So people will come in there and take decisions immediately.
I just wonder the role of government as the shareholder and managing these boards or having these boards report to them. Because often we see some of these state-owned entities, and when you look at the boards, the individuals have got qualifications, but for some reason these boards either underperform or you hear complaints about political meddling. I just wonder what you see the role of government as the shareholder in managing these boards in these state-owned entities.
It's very difficult, Peter, I can tell you. It's very limiting. Actually, many good men and women who are very, very good. I mean, when they are approached to go and serve at these SOEs companies, they will decline because of that. You know, you go there and then it's highly political. You know, that the shareholder, it's either taking decisions or wrong decisions or not taking decisions at all. You as a board, you want to direct the company in a certain way, and then government will come and pressurize you to do in a different way. For instance, of course, yes, government must roll out electricity to community because it's their political and social responsibilities. So government will come and say, we need electricity in these informal settlements, in these villages, in these places, But the people who are managing there are the people who will be able. Do we have that capacity to serve all this? But for the government, it's good for them because it's political. But the others, they must look at the reality and the economic side of it. So it's definitely very, very difficult. And actually, we must thank these new board members for accepting these appointments. It's not easy. Many people, whether at an executive level or non-executive level, will decline because of those pressures.
So how should it run? When I think about the private sector, shareholders have nothing to do with the day-to-day running of the companies that they own shares in. And in fact, they probably only get a say at the AGM and special meetings during the year. Should that be the same with a cabinet minister who has a responsibility to certain entities?
Absolutely, Peter, that should be the same. The duty of the shareholder is just to be there to make sure that the company is run correctly, they're getting their dividends, and the board is supported, and the board is doing it. But they must not interfere. Because they've appointed the board, and the board must be afforded that opportunity to run the organization. And when the board does that, at least, and then they're able to hold account, or the accountable the executive and the management. But when the board, they find themselves between or in the midst of this politics and this, they are not objective, they are not independent. They should be. That's why it's called the independent non-executive. They should be independent in their thinking, in their actions, in their decisions, in their choices. But if they are pressurized somewhere and somehow, it becomes very difficult for them to do to carry out their duties with aplomb.
So let's take a look at Eskom, for example, 12, 13 board members. How important is the role of the chairperson and the choice of the person to take the role of chairperson?
It's critically important. It's critically important because it's someone who oversees everything. It's someone who's sharing the board, and so he must understand the enterprise. He must understand the intricacies of the organization. He must be a very experienced and competent and ethical person, and for that, I think Pravin has made a sterling job, because the new chairperson is exactly that kind of a person we are defining. Mpoma is a highly experienced executive. He has run many big organizations or companies, actually global companies, as a chairperson of the board and also as a member of the board. So he has served many different boards, and because also he has served Eskom board before, for about 9 years. So he understands Eskom, and then he's the person who will get there and just being briefed of what the current situations are, and then also will be able to put together as quick as possible the turnaround strategy there, because that's what is needed now. You need people who will get there and act immediately. They don't have a luxury of times. Obviously, we must be realistic. We don't say changes will happen there in a day or in a week or in months, but we are saying a very reasonable time that something must happen there. So the new board members are are very good members, or rather very good men and women who are very qualified, very experienced, competent, and men and women of integrity, because that is very, very important. So people that have got right there, we can't falter him for that.
Professor Majola, always good talking to you. Thank you so much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Professor Mazwe Majola speaking to us about the leadership that's required, particularly at board level in our state-owned enterprises. And he's very happy with the board that's been constituted by the Public Enterprises Minister, albeit, he says, quite late.